All right. So I will be demonstrating how to make a very simplistic stickman figure in the 3D modeling application Blender. So first things first, we will start with the basic camera controls and the simple modeling controls. So to turn the camera, you will hit the middle mouse button and just move the mouse around. To physically move the camera around, you hit left shift and middle mouse. Well, then you have the other camera controls where you can get very specific uh, views, which if you hit the number pad for one, you have the front orthographic view. The numpad 3 is the right orthographic view. And numpad 7 is the top orthographic view. So we will mainly be working on this side on the front orthographic view. So the controls that we will be using is to extrude, which is E, rotate, which is R, scale, which is S, select all is A, and G is to move. And then I will hit, and that will get explained more. So to start all of this, we will enter edit mode, and we will go over here to modifiers. That's We will go over to modifiers and activate the mirror modifier. Make sure it's on the x-axis. We will select all, move over, and then enable clipping. We will then move them back, and then whenever you try to move it afterwards, it's stuck together. So we will start by making the torso of our stickman. So what we want to do is scale it down on the y-axis to get it somewhat thinner. Once we have made it thinner, we can either start making the rest of the torso, or we can give our stickman depth. To do depth, all we would do is go up here to edge select, and then select this edge and this edge. To select more than one edge, it's shift click to do that. To give depth, we will just hit X and Y and scale on the Y axis. But for this, we are not doing that. All we are doing here is just making a very simplistic stickman. So once we have this rough shape, we will go down here and click this. We will extrude this down to say right about there. So now that we have it here, we will rotate this face on the, that's not supposed to do it. We will rotate this face on the y-axis to give it a little bit of shape. What we also want to do is take this edge and move it in ever so slightly. We also want to take this face and rotate it a little bit itself. So we will hit R, Y, and then move it like that. Now we will go back here and we will select this face. With this face, we will disable clipping, extrude, and start the basis for the legs. Once you have extruded the upper leg, we will extrude the lower leg. If you want to, you can make the area for the feet flat, and then you can move the legs a little closer if you really want. Now, we will go back up here, and over here, we want to get a slight, we want to get this yellow box, which is Control R. The only reason we need this box is so we can give us a space for the arms. We will put it here, slightly above where it actually is, and now we have an area for the arms. Well, we will select this face and extrude it out. And with this face, we will extrude down, but because it is clipping into the body, what we want to do is we want to move this out slightly, and then we'll extrude this down a little bit more for the lower arm. We'll move that out slightly. And then for the head of our stickman, we will um, select this face and then extrude this out. Well, we want to re-enable clipping and then extrude this out slightly. We then want to scale it down to kind of give us a slight bit of like a neck podium. What we will then do is extrude this up to say about here, and then we'll extrude it out again. This is so we can have a little bit of control over the midway point of our neck. By selecting this edge, we can move it in or out depending on how we want this neck. So to actually begin working on our head, we will select the face, this face right here, and we will extrude up to about here and then up again to, I'll say about here. Well, because of how extruding works, it just extends the way it's facing. So we will move this area in slightly, and then for this vertice here and here, we will move this down just a little bit. There we got the rough outline of our stickman's head. So in order to actually make our stickman look less flat, we can scale this out just a bit and then actually, well, we could shift it, but that would just push one side of it in. So we will select these faces and then extrude them out just a bit. Now, because of how this looks, we're just going to move the faces here in a little bit so it's not so wide out front. Then we'll go to the back of the head, select these faces, and extrude them backwards. Since this is the back of the head, we'll take this edge and move it up. Now, this is again just a simple tutorial on how to make a stickman, a very low poly stickman in Blender. There are much better ways to do this, and there are much better tutorials that will teach you how to do this. Well, this is my quick tutorial. It's just a quick rundown of how you actually use the controls in Blender. So, well, thank you for watching and good luck.